We had a very,
That really needed to be mentioned.
I'm trying to make a situation light, okay? But
The WNBA All-Star Press Conference was meant to showcase unity and celebration, but as soon as Kelsey Plum began speaking, that perception quickly changed.
Kelsey Plum blows the lid off the joint, letting us all in on a small secret.
The WNBA All-Star Press Conference was supposed to be about unity and celebration. But with just one offhand remark and a laugh, Kelsey Plum shifted the entire atmosphere. She didn't just make a casual comment about Caitlin Clark. It came across as an attempt to embarrass her on national television. Caitlin, however, stayed silent until now, and her recent statement has left fans stunned. If you're backing Caitlin in this situation, type Team CC in the comments. During the All-Star post-game press conference, Kelsey unexpectedly called out Caitlin Clark's entire team for missing a morning meeting connected to the now-viral shirt protest. Her words instantly blew up online. The press room grew tense, with Sabrina Ionescu throwing noticeable eye rolls. What began as a subtle dig escalated into one of the most talked-about feuds in WNBA history. Now, Caitlin's reply is hitting back in a major way. Let me break down what started it all. Caitlin Clark, one of the most talked-about players in the league, couldn't participate in the All-Star game due to a groin injury, staying mostly out of the spotlight. That should have been the end of the story, but instead, she found herself at the center of a very public controversy. It all began with t-shirts. Every All-Star player walked onto the court wearing bold black shirts with the statement, "Pay us what you owe us."
Pay us what you owe us. And of course, everybody clowned that.
Fans initially viewed this as a long overdue statement, a powerful call for better working conditions, fair pay, and greater respect for women athletes. It was one of those rare moments where players from different teams and backgrounds stood together with a unified voice. However, it soon became clear that the demonstration wasn't as spontaneous as it first appeared. It had been carefully planned earlier that morning during a private team meeting. Even Kelsey Plum herself described it as a powerful moment, noting that it was a surprise for most players and that the decision to go through with it was finalized that very morning. Up until then, everything seemed to be going smoothly. But with a single careless remark, Kelsey ended up overshadowing the entire message.
Kelsey Plum decided to give some backstory about these shirts, and she took a shot at Caitlin Clark.
She explained.
not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
She remarked, not to call anyone out, but none of Team Clark showed up for that. The room went silent. Wait, what?
Team Clark? They had no idea what was awaiting them walking into that locker room come WNBA All-Star.
Instead of embracing the powerful display of unity, Kelsey Plum shifted the focus entirely. Rather than celebrating what brought the players together, she chose to spotlight who wasn't there. What should have felt like a collective statement suddenly came across as a personal dig, almost like a deliberate jab rather than a moment of solidarity.
Even help these chicks get paid, bro. There's a part of me that don't even feel like she should help them get.
Whether she intended it or not, calling out Clark's team came across less like leadership and more like someone trying to stir up drama. And it worked. The media grabbed onto the moment, and fans immediately took sides. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, who hadn't even been involved, suddenly became the symbol of division in a league that prides itself on unity. To make matters worse, Kelsey tried to downplay the situation afterward, saying it was all meant as a lighthearted joke, but no one was laughing.
This is a joke gone so badly wrong that it's got Kelsey Plum going viral, and it's got the people that hate Caitlin Clark using it as a way to hate Caitlin Clark.
Sabrina Ionescu, who was sitting right next to Kelsey, had a priceless reaction to the comment. Her expression alone spoke volumes. It was clear she wasn't impressed. That moment quickly went viral, with fans turning Sabrina's reaction into memes across social media.
Ionescu did not like this shit, by the way. I give her credit because she was like, oh boy. I mean, it was ridiculous, but here we go.
Sabrina's facial expression said it all. The moment those words left Plum's mouth, she seemed to know exactly how the internet would react, and it wasn't going to be supportive. And as it turns out, She was absolutely right.
Sabrina, appreciate you holding it down. You held it down, Sabrina.
But let's be clear, Team Clark's absence from that meeting wasn't just an accident. Caitlin Clark is arguably the biggest star the WNBA has ever had. Do you really think it was a coincidence that none of her teammates showed up? Or that WNBA leadership, including NA Stewie, said nothing about it?
They were walking into the arena with a good mood, smiling from ear to ear, getting ready to play some ball. And then they walk into the lock. On everybody's locker, unbeknownst to them, there's a shirt that says, "Pay us what you owe us."
There's something fundamentally off about this whole situation. Maybe the shirts and the entire protest were planned without including the player who's genuinely driving change for the league. Still, Kelsey seemed eager for the spotlight and felt the need to call out Caitlin. In trying to throw shade, she actually revealed the real issue: plain and simple jealousy.
These WNBA players, they get more unlikable every day. And the blatant...
No matter how loud they shout, "Pay us," everyone knows that about 90% of the league's revenue is driven by one name: Caitlin Clark. The players know it, the fans know it, and the league knows it. And here's what really ignited the situation. Social media exploded, but definitely not in Kelsey Plum's favor. Instead of rallying support, those shirts sparked backlash. Fans called the protest performative and criticized the league for hypocrisy. Many slammed Plum for publicly throwing shade at a teammate who wasn't even on the court to defend herself. What Plum expected to be a proud moment quickly turned into a PR nightmare. One careless comment made the entire All-Star weekend feel more like a middle school cafeteria drama, but Caitlin didn't respond immediately. Her silence spoke louder than any words Plum could have said. She was watching, calculating. When she finally did respond, she didn't just clap back. She flipped the narrative entirely. It happened under an Instagram post. Plum shared a photo from the All-Star game, likely expecting praise for the "Pay Us" shirts, but Clark stole the spotlight once again. With just 6 words, she wrote, "Thank you for the Nike ad." And the internet went wild. Here's why that was brilliant. Plum is an Under Armour athlete, while Clark is signed with Nike. By posting a photo of Clark in Nike gear, Plum unintentionally turned her own post into free advertising for her biggest competitor. That's the difference. Caitlin Clark isn't like the others. She didn't need to argue on TV or hold a press conference. She didn't even tag Plum. Instead, she silently reminded everyone that she's playing chess while the rest are busy fighting over checkers. Her numbers speak louder than all the noise. She knows who the fans come to watch, and more importantly, she knows what's truly on the line. This league doesn't just benefit from her presence, it practically depends on it. Yet they freeze her out, mock her, and accuse her fans of racism, all while using her jersey sales to push for raises. You can't have it both ways. You can't bash her in interviews and then cash in on her popularity. Even retired NBA legends have weighed in, condemning Plum's comments and the way Clark was treated during All-Star Weekend. When 3-time NBA champions start calling your behavior embarrassing, you've crossed a line. Real legends recognize rising stars, and the wise ones know to protect them. Not pick fights with the very person keeping your league alive. Let's be real for a moment. Caitlin Clark isn't just another WNBA player. She is the WNBA's headline act. And if you think that's an exaggeration, here's something to consider.
Story is here. Caitlin Clark is the one bringing in the numbers. We watched.
When news came out that Caitlin wouldn't be participating in the All-Star game because of a groin injury, ticket prices immediately plummeted by half, a full 50%.
The ticket prices dropped 50% when Caitlin Clark was announced that she will not be participating due to her injury. The ticket price.
With just one player sidelined, the entire market took a hit. That's not just a sign of popularity. That's real influence, and it's quantifiable. Other players made headlines wearing the "Pay Us What You Owe Us" shirts, but when Caitlin wasn't there, the event's value immediately declined.
These women are insufferable. They don't deserve more money. They don't get any ratings outside of Caitlin Clark. They openly disrespect her. They don't.
And now their decline has begun. Interview 16. In the latest news, Caitlyn has officially been ruled out for Tuesday night's game against the New York Liberty.
Exactly what Stephanie White Lies has to say.
Well, I haven't seen since the game last night, but, I think she's progressing.
So, are we really watching an all-star event that feels more like a high school exhibition than a primetime showcase for the best in women's basketball? The truth is, you can't just manufacture hype or protest your way into star status. Caitlin Clark earned hers. And while she's busy stacking wins, endorsements, and airtime, the others are still trying to figure out how to turn their posts into free ads for Nike. At the end of the day, the WNBA is facing a real challenge, not because Caitlyn gets too much attention, but because without her, the league suddenly isn't enough. They've been demanding what they're owed, but maybe it's time to ask why the checks don't come through when she's not on the court. She's the one driving the revenue.